Coming at you live from beautiful DNHQ in South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. Couple of those. Why not? What's up, Dodgers Nation? It's your boy, Real FRG. Call me Clint. You can find me by that other handle on the internet machine, Instagram, Twitter. It's my home address, you know.
That's your home address?
Yeah, Real FRG.
Good, yeah.
I had to work so hard to get that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's surprising. And I'm Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMe3 on Instagram and Twitter. And if you like what you're hearing, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere that podcasts are sold.
Well,
sold, yeah.
Oh, wait,
even though we're free. We're free.
This is how we're letting you guys know, by the way.
We're on Spotify, which is probably my favorite way to listen.
Spotify is that's a banger. Yeah. That's the way I sponsor it on my Twitter. But you can also watch the show. We are live every Tuesday evening. So Twitter and Periscope, Facebook Live, Twitch, YouTube. Make sure you tell your grandma. And grandma's very important. Yeah. Find all of our great content on thedodgersnation.com. So before we get started, before we start getting into what I think it's kind of sort of probably on everybody's mind still Casting Gate? Assassin Gate. Give myself that.
It's over 9,000!
There it is. Hit us up in the comments and all that. Send us your area codes. We want to shout you out. Send us your questions. Let us know what you want to talk about. So yeah, on today's show, we're going to be recapping our time at Dodgers Fan Fest, where this guy was a professional media guy.
And this guy was a professional in-line waiter.
I waited in line so long.
That pretty much sums up FanFest, I think.
Yeah,
Wait in line.
That's what. Yeah, there's a lot of that, and we'll get into that too in the second half of the show. But also some of the time you spent with Dave Roberts, Andrew Friedman, Walker Buehler, friend of the show. Maybe
a little bit of time, yeah. A little bit of time with Kenley. A little bit of time with Kenta, even though he didn't understand me and I didn't understand him.
But Dylan Hernandez, oddly enough, Dylan Hernandez is on fire.
You know, I think I don't know about that.
Questionable.
I think he had that locked and loaded in his back pocket. Yeah, he had like a piece in his ear or something.
Hey, we've all been there. So first, we got to talk about it. I'm calling it Casting Gate 29 because I'm 2019. I'm sorry, you have to. As I see, Sports from Coast to Coast was going on. FRG, that's me. Sports from Coast to Coast. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's late for you. 209 Tam Smith coming at us from Periscope. Thanks for joining in. It's been a while since we've had a gate. Of course, we are just ahead of Deflategate Brady.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. I think it's the proper time to have a not a Deflategate, but a Casting Gate that kind of deflated the moral.
We need a good scandal. Yeah. It's always
I don't know.
Good
this is a scandal because it's kind of what was happening. Why don't you explain?
We just need something to talk about. You know, there's so little going on.
At least every Tuesday
in all of baseball, and once a week we need at least one thing to talk about, and we got something. We asked and we received. Yeah. Look at that. Stan Kasten had some things to say when he talked to Dylan Hernandez of the LA Times. He's with LA Times, right?
Yes.
That's what he's with.
Columnist.
Dylan kind of poked and prodded a little bit.
On what was supposed to be a nice day.
Supposed to be, a family day, a family event. Bring your kids out. And instead kind of turned into what Kasten, I can imagine, felt a little bit of like an attack on him, especially from a reporter's viewpoint.
No doubt.
But he basically said, brought up the whole issue of the front office not spending money and what he felt about that, and how Hernandez had felt the fans had, as him representing them, had felt like the fans didn't think the front office was super committed to spending money because they, as he puts it, don't want to go over the luxury tax, and whether or not that's true.
Did you know though that's the whole reason they're not going over is because there's some real inside baseball
inside baseball economic stuff, and you can get that shirt coming soon.
Where is it? There's that.
It is, yeah.
I think there you go. That went Stan's credibility with Dodgers Nation
right
at the
down
moment.
to it. I will say on one hand, I don't think that was the time or place for Kasten. But I also don't think it was the time or place for Hernandez either.
No.
He kind of poked and prodded at the wrong time. Didn't necessarily agree with it, but absolutely Kasten should have had a little bit of restraint, held back a little bit. He is right. I'll give him that. He's never specifically said that his team that they're not going to go over the luxury tax. And Friedman's even admitted that they've never been told that they can't go over the luxury tax.
Yeah, there's no ownership mandate to not spend the money. But let us know what you guys feel about it. I mean, I think the whole idea was just the way Stan came about. And then, of course, it was spun a little bit worse, I would assume.
Yes.
As they do, because you got to sell the newspaper. I don't even think they're a quarter anymore. I think they're more. But, by the way, we got 860 in the house. We got SD Dodger Tim saying, hey, guys, what's going on?
Boy.
Dude Grant, on Periscope says Kasten is a buffoon. I think some people can confirm.
Did he spell buffoon right?
No, I don't think so.
Well, irony.
Isn't it BUFFFFF?
There's 16 Fs
and then 2 U's, right? So speaking of SD Dodgers, so Tim did write a post on our DodgersNation.com, kind of giving people a bit of the scoop on it, and also some opinion and some of what went on around the internet. But yeah, here we are. I had asked on a poll on Twitter, and I wanted to have it pulled up, but I didn't prepare properly. But essentially, do we think that the Dodgers were going to address the comments? Were they going to say anything, or just let it fade away? And overwhelming majority of everybody, 79%, said they're just going to wait it out.
I don't necessarily think that. I can't see them ignoring that. I maybe as an organization they might not address it. I feel like Kasten's got to say something at some point to somebody that makes it feel a little bit better, maybe a little better feelings going into opening day, because it does leave like a weird taste in your mouth going into opening day with the front office. Even for me personally, I still think Kasten was right. I think I agree with him. I don't think there's ever been anything to suggest that they won't spend money. There's kind of that false narrative that he talks about, which I would 100% agree with. They don't think people don't think he wants to spend money, and he dropped record numbers of money on Kenley Jansen, who historically the Dodgers don't spend money on bullpens. It's just not the case. But he didn't let him walk. He didn't let Kershaw walk.
That was actually, we had the post out about that apparently somebody had tweeted. There was, per sources, that it was an ownership call.
Yeah, it was. It had nothing to do with Farhan, and allegedly, and had nothing to do with Friedman. So that the ownership group is committed to spending money. Yeah. And so to say that they're not, I don't think that's a fair take on it. I think the reason why people are upset is because they're such a big market team and they haven't spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on Bryce Harper. And that's the only reason. Real, that's all it is.
Everybody just wants Harper. And we should note that as of now, I mean, the Dodgers threw, I think it's as of now, the third richest contract to a free agent pitcher. Because, of course, Joe Kelly, because Keuchel hasn't signed or anything like that, and neither has Kimbrel. But they have also signed the richest free agent player contract in Pollock so far. Of course, most likely, unless they happen to settle for a one-year deal, and unless that deal goes over like $60 million. Harper AJ Pollock is the most expensive free agent money dude, as we say in the business, real economic inside money dude stuff. But the question was posed, and a lot of people hit this one. Does signing Bryce Harper basically guarantee a World Series? And we'll let you guys kind of populate this. Twitter, an overwhelming 76% no. Yeah. Harper doesn't guarantee, and we worded it that way for a reason, because that's kind of the way some of the, as we bring it up again, narrative says it's going to happen. Oh, if we do this...
Right. It doesn't even buy you a trip to the playoffs.
No, it doesn't guarantee anything. There ain't nothing free in Waterworld.
We got a 617 Boston, Ryan Kern. Ooh, sorry, Ryan. He said he just moved here this summer. Great timing on that one, Ryan. I feel for you, man.
Things are rough. Things are definitely rough. We got some hell no. We got some thanks. Thank you. And Freudman, friend of the stream, Freudman coming back. Thanks for joining us. Says we want Real Muto. And that's what it is right now. The fan base seems to just be saying, "Oh, we want this, we want that, we want that." Right. I'm not mad. I'm probably in the minority here of angry fandom, but I'm not mad at what this club looks like.
No, I think that's really high pitched no, because I had to really emphasize the fact that I am not. I don't know what's happening. Originally, before they got Joe Kelly, before they got Pollock, before they, right in the weird time between them when they traded Kemp and Puig and Wood, it felt weird. It didn't feel like a filled out team. No. But the more I got to talk to these guys, and
just throw that around.
Yeah. There's something about Dave Roberts' eyes when you look into him. You just feel like everything's gonna be okay.
He's a good dude.
Hey man, his voice just like gets to you. You're like, everything's okay in life. And he talked about one of my biggest worries was Max Muncy, and we'll get to that a little later. But he talked about how confident he was in his team and the players around him and the lineup that they've built. And I think they've done a really great job, and they've done it really efficiently. They haven't traded away their entire farm system yet. They haven't spent all of their money yet, but they still have a pretty good team, and they're playing in a division that's, I mean, let's face it, we're not going to be playing in a great division for at least this next season. The Padres are, like you talked about, Padres are going to get good in the next couple of years here. But
yeah, and even if they sign Machado this year, which there's some chatter about. No, not the Dodgers, the Padres. Yeah. Oh yeah, we want the Padres to sign Harpchado, by the way. Harpchado, friend of the show. We're going to make that a shirt. Even if they do, they're still not going to be anything exceptional for a hot minute.
No, they need some time to get those young guys up. Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah, those young guys up.
Oh, that just got real. But yeah, the whole idea, the made-up narrative, which it sort of is, like it. So we got some other questions from the stream or comments here. We got, I'm assuming it's Sergey saying Hernandez of the LA Times reporter is a fan hero. So when all this kind of happened and we were tweeting back and forth, the real stuff goes down in Twitter. I had pointed out that, maybe it seemed because he was sort of bum rushed in the situation, maybe Stan didn't have time to rehearse his nice version. Right. And plainly, he's just frustrated with the same line of questioning every single time he's at a media event. Yeah. I was proven wrong about the whole idea of what's that? I just said it. Preparation. He wasn't ready for it because our friend of the stream, Mr. Greg Bergman at Bergman Raw, he had mentioned that when they had him over on Mason and Ireland, who's tied for the second best or first best, tied for the number one local AM radio show. Yeah. Yeah. I think did they give them that? Did they give them that? I think they did it on their own. If not, congrats. We'll give you guys a
solid.
Do better. You could have been number one. How do you guys lose to Petros? Come on. Yeah. Anyway, he was talking about how when they did have them, they talked to Stan on the radio machine, that he gave essentially the same type of response, and it was met with some hostility in a way. So plainly, they're just getting mad at it because they're doing exactly what they said they were going to do. They were going to spend money. The Guggenheimers were going to come in, spend money quick, fix it, make the team competitive, and then start to taper off and focus more on homegrown talent. And all the while we're talking about, how come we didn't go out and get Verlander? Well, it would have cost us probably Walker Buehler, even though Darvish was the better pitcher at the time. The numbers said it. They do things in Houston, guys, that normal teams don't do.
There's some shenanigans going on there.
Or aren't allowed to do.
There's some shenanigans going on there. Ask Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, anyways, here's where my pine tar will be.
Manuel Ochoa says, don't try to be funny. Wasted too much time. Get to the point.
No, that's not what we do.
He spelled wasted wrong, too.
If you want that, you can watch any of the other, or listen. You can only listen to any of the other podcasts that might happen to be around. We're the best in the game. You can hang out and you can listen to my bullshit.
There's no shenanigans here. We don't.
But
laugh.
thanks for hanging out. We do. You got
a Buck Foston up on there on the screen.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
We'll give that person a point.
Thank you.
So Ronnie Hatfield, getting back into that. So now we're talking about trading prospects, and this would cost at least Keibert Ruiz, but is the Kluber talk done? And I think Kluber was probably done by December. But media was pushing it out for the longest time, trying to get what they could. And it helped us. I mean, let's be real. It helped us over here. But Kluber talk's done, right? The straight the hell up done.
A lot of stuff came out later in end of December, early January that basically said Cleveland's not moving either of those guys. And on one hand, it makes sense. They are looking to compete, and those guys they don't really have much to fill out their rotation other than those guys, unless they're going to trade for another rotation piece, which wouldn't make a ton of sense. But it just makes sense to me that they would hold on to him for at least a while till the trade deadline, see where they end up. I don't know. I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't think those guys are moving anytime soon.
Well, maybe. Cleveland, they have that division pretty much in the bag, unless something really, really explosively bad happens.
I think their stadium would have to catch on fire or something.
Sal 2461. You guys with the numbers, it really messes me up. I have numeric dyslexia. Anywho, it said Kasten said for us not to worry about the luxury tax stuff, and that was his job. That's what he said on Mason and Ireland. again, same kind of thing. They don't want to get into it. What was it that Friedman had said about the whole I think the question was brought up at FanFest that $5 is like $1 or $1 is only $5 or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Because the question was how far can it's not that if you go over the luxury tax by a couple dollars, you're immediately fined, X amount of money. It doesn't work like that. It's a percentage-based fine, especially if you're under the 5-year mark, because the Dodgers went over it for 5 straight years, and they were going to face an even bigger penalty that wasn't actually in any sort of contract. So it was kind of unprecedented. That's why basically the commissioner just said, don't go over it.
Yeah.
If you remember that, it was like, no, you're just not going to go over it this year. So that's why we faced that. But Friedman had said, there's future. He kind of phrased it similar to how Kasten phrased it, to where we don't really know what it means exactly. But he said there's future baseball costs the following year for going over the luxury tax. And that could mean, that could mean a ton of different things. And we don't necessarily know because, the CBA, while we do have it at our, if we wanted to go through the CBA, we could. But that is a deep, deep, deep dive of a document because that's all legal jargon too.
Yeah. If anybody has that like memorized back to front, it's either going to be probably Marshall Garvey or more likely Tim Rogers. But find him. Slip into the SD Dodgers DMs on that one.
He could probably tell you everything about that.
At LA Confidential on the paragrams here. Don't need Kluber when the Dodgers have Urias and Dustin May. Absolutely. Like this is. I think I said this is going to be the year for Dustin May. He's finally going to do something. But there's more guys. There's that Josiah Gray that we picked up. He's probably a 21 piece. But, maybe even some chance at seeing Jordan Sheffield. But you're going to have still like Ross Stripling doing a swingman guy. You're going to have Maeda hopefully holding down that fifth spot that we're going to find out more about tomorrow in your piece.
We will.
Is that tomorrow or is that today?
It's tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going up tomorrow.
Yeah,
oh, wait. No, that's today. That went up today.
They all look the same.
Yeah.
Matt Camp 68, Dodger fan from Adelaide, Australia. Hey, cheers! Cheers, mate.
That's a place.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Hey, you know what? We cool like that.
Yeah.
Dustin May in 2020, yes, sir. Does the front office know something we don't about a pitcher coming up?
I'm sure they know a lot more about life than we do.
But I think for like the names we just named off, for the. What the hell? Oh, for the it's like when would the Dodgers trade Machado and Peterson to the Sox? It's like I don't think we can do that, but there's a lot of exceptional arms that are down on the minor league side, and then after Urias gets some time to get healthy this year, whether it's AAA or bouncing into the big league rotation or even the bullpen, he's going to be really good. But like we say, Buehler, Urias, May, Kershaw, Santana, even Dennis Santana we even brought out. That dude has a double in his one career start.
He does, yeah.
That's impressive.
That's impressive for that guy. Yeah, we haven't really gotten to see what he can do. What did he pitch, like 3 major league innings or something like that before he went down with the injury?
Thereabout.
And that guy has always been, a lot of scouts really think that he's going to be something big, and he showed some pretty good flashes of stuff in that short little itty-bitty time span that he got to be with the team. So that guy could really be a part of the rotation, the bullpen, whatever it might be in the future.
Let's see. So Randy asks, are they looking to trade Jock?
Yeah. I would say it's unreasonable to think that they're not looking to trade Jock. And if they're not, then I don't know what they're doing. Because at this point, if you're considering the time to trade fan favorites is now, because you already got rid of your fan favorites. You got rid of Puig, which is probably one of the fan favorites.
Kenley's still hurting about that one.
Yeah. And, you got rid of Kemp for the second time, which hurt probably more this time around somehow than last time around.
Don't forget about fan favorite Yasmani Grandal.
And don't forget about fan favorite Kyle Farmer.
Oh, I love that.
That's known as the Kyle Farmer trade, and it always will be, right?
Plus, I'm very sorry that we also still have lost multiple times Timmy LoCastro.
Yeah.
That's his
so sad about
that's
that.
his friend of the show.
So if you're looking to move Jock, I'd say now's the time to do it. Get all you can for him. You're not going to get a major league ready player. That's not realistic. You're going to get some prospects back. They're not going to be top 5 prospects, but
Jock is a really good player. I could only move Jock for a major league player. Mainly, if we're looking at Real Muto, the rest of the league values Jock Peterson way more. Like we've talked about here in the show, they value him way more than we do. And here in LA, he's a 3 to 4 win player each season. 25 home runs are pretty much you could pencil those in. The average is going to hurt. He's not going to drive in many runs, and he's only going to hit against right-handed pitching. Right. Because that's all our Lord Tommy Lasorda said that he can do. But if you're getting any value out of him now, because he still has some team control and all that, you get rid of him now. I've never heard of Nick Whitgren, so I'm going to go ahead and say no. The Dodgers.
He's the guy from Marlins.
I've never heard of
they just DFA'd him. I think he has one where he has an option year left. He was the guy who had him and Bear Claw both had were killing the bullpen.
Delicious.
Yeah, Bear Claw. But he got roughed up a little bit. His numbers, his peripherals around his career suggest that he had one good year, and that's the only good year he's going to have. But he might be worth taking a look at for another team that's not looking to contend.
Right on.
So not really Dodgers material,
though. Saul back in here again saying we'll get one more on here, and then we're going to take a quickie commercial break, ad break here, and get to more on the actual team. But do we think Dodgers might trade Ryu, or is he too expensive at $17 million? I don't think his trade value is there. He was exceptional last year, but he made 14 starts. You're looking at some players who Bryce Harper can't even get a job. Who's going to pay $17 million for Ryu right now? I don't think. But I agree with ADJV909. Would be a solid offseason if we finished up by trading for Real Muto. Hell yes, that would win the offseason by miles. End up with Kelly, Pollock, and Real Muto and Von Gooch. I'm still going to rock my Puigi jersey, boys. Absolutely, don't hate on the Puigi.
Yeah, no reason to hate on him. No reason to hate.
He's sad, too. He's just as sad as everybody else.
Yeah, his heart's broken also. Mm-hmm. He belongs in L.A. Or wherever can hold the wild horse.
So we do want to remind you that we are going to be out in spring training for Arizona. It's going to be super fun and delicious and exciting.
Super fun, delicious, exciting time.
So we're going to be there at the beginning of March. And you can, too. This spring, follow your favorite teams to Arizona for Cactus League Baseball. And by favorite teams, of course, we mean your Los Angeles Dodgers. Amazing weather and landscapes, exciting outdoor adventure, incredible food. Arizona is the perfect home base for baseball fans.
10 stadiums, 15 MLB teams, 75-degree temperatures. All 10 stadiums are within 50 miles of one another in the greater Phoenix area. You can meet and actually interact with the players and even get autographs before or after games. The fan experience truly cannot be rivaled when out at spring training.
And there's so much to do and see nearby. Arizona is they're known for the incredible landscapes, thrilling outdoor adventures, or so they tell me. So why not check off some of those must-see destinations from your bucket list, like the Grand Canyon, Monument Valley, Horseshoe Bend, maybe even go to Horseshoe Bend twice, you never know. So many more options.
Yeah, and check out amazing restaurants and bars nearby, including tons and tons of craft breweries like Four Peaks, Angel's Trumpet Ale House, and Goldwater Brewing Company.
And my favorite part, obviously, breakfast. Breakfast is banging out there. Just saying it.
Arizona is super family friendly, and with half of the league in town, there's always something to do with the kids and even grandma.
Bring grandma. She'll love it. So plan your spring training getaway at visitarizona.com/springtraining. That is visitarizona.com/springtraining, or even download the Visit Arizona app on Google Play or the inferior Apple Store. And we're back. So we got to talk about FanFest. We were out there at FanFest. You guys let us know if you were out there at FanFest. Let us know what you liked, or let us know what some of the problems. Oh wait, hold on. Very important question here. Tia Kings 1148. What's your favorite breakfast spot out there? To FRG. My favorite spot. It's honestly it's a spot called The Farm at South Mountain. It's a little bougie, but the food is great, and it's right next to where we stay often because we end up staying at a place. But yeah, it's a super great spot. But you also can't go wrong with USA Egg. That's delicious. And other fine food establishments like Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box is good. Yeah, it's good. They got to get a
Eat
breakfast
fresh.
Jack.
Eat fresh. There it is.
Better ingredients, better breakfast jacks.
Better box. So yeah, let us know about your Fan Fest experiences, guys. But great question. We're gonna give TA Kings some love there. My experience. I'm gonna open it up because you had the real stuff. You were the important real.
But you
boy.
have the better story.
I was in a never-ending line for stuff. But as you guys can see here on the stream, there's a lot more populating our beautiful DNHQ shelves back here, sponsored by Bud Light.
We're a lot prettier thanks to you and your efforts. They do not go unnoticed.
My ankle suffered greatly.
I heard you walking through the parking lot. Yeah.
Oh my God, it was just a night. I could not walk. I'm pretty sure I have a stress fracture somewhere.
We tried to get the helpful Honda people to give them a ride, but
they said I drove an Acura.
They
But
said
anyway,
no.
I waited in the yard sale line. Waffle House, good point too. There you go. Cracked egg, also great. We're talking Arizona food, guys. I mean, this is real talk.
You got to
It's
be
breakfast.
a local.
These guys are gonna know. I'm gonna get them the real food out there. But no,
McDonald's McMuffins.
making bacon with Tim Rogers.
I think our producer just died. What's the noise?
So the lines, I think that was kind of what I've seen on the internet. The lines were just insane. Everybody really was
Disneyland's got nothing on FanFest. Holy cow!
Like the LAFC line was at least a good while, and like
No one even watches soccer.
he said 3 jerseys. I can't do it. But it was gnarly, but nothing compared to the almost 3 hours, maybe more than 3 hours I waited, and many other angry and then happy and then angry and then just burning up. People waited in the yard sale line. That was just beyond insane out there. But again, I ended up getting by the time. So there was this JT. Like running bobblehead that was listed at $80, and then they crossed it down to 40, and crossed it down to 60, crossed it down to 40, and then by the time I got to the front of the line, it was $5. So about 3.
I think they just felt so bad for you, man. They just saw you. They're like, this guy's red.
What was holding? Right now, it's
right now
here.
too, but also probably back then when you're sitting.
Oh
in the
yeah,
sun for 4 hours.
when you're in the sun for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And my homegirl, she's tall, but I couldn't really
hide underneath her.
Yeah, I couldn't perch behind her because I hate her. Her face.
She probably wasn't going to let you do it anyways.
You never know. When in Rome. But that was it. There was a light at the end of the tunnel, so we're gonna go ahead and give me where's my
you
applause?
a round of applause?
And give me applause
Give
for
yourself
surviving.
a round of applause.
Yes,
you lived.
I lived.
That's all that matters.
Barely. So tell us about your exciting time because we have some of the fun interviews you were able to pick up out there.
Yeah, I got to talk to a lot of people. The very first person we talked to was Kenta. He, I think he had come off the.
You mean he talked at you?
Well, he talked. Yeah, it was an interesting experience to say the least. That was the first one of the day, so it's kind of a weird media scrum. But he came in, I think, from a photo op or a signing outside, and he came into because we were all stationed in the visitors bullpen because apparently that's where they put media on FanFest Day.
Yeah.
And there was about 10 Japanese reporters came up and started talking to him in Japanese, and then there's me towering over everybody, standing there and waiting my turn. And then finally his translator asked me if I wanted to ask a question, which was good because I had a lot of questions for him, but I couldn't get them all out because it was just me and him talking.
Yeah.
And his translator.
By
that
point, everybody's kind of like saddled in
why
there.
is this kid talking to me?
What does this dude want? Who invited this guy?
Who invited this big, tall, white guy to talk to me?
Mm-hmm.
After that, we got to talk to a couple of people. We got to go to the Pollock introduction
that was super
thing, which was really
cool.
awesome because we got to see him put on his jersey and take a picture with his family and with the ownership group and everything. So that was really exciting.
In that media room.
It was in that media room, yeah.
That's the media room where Dave Roberts has talked about the Game 7 loss, talked about the Game 5 loss. They also talked about the Game 4 loss. I'm sorry.
Losses,
I'm so sorry.
I also got to stand behind Alana Rizzo as she went live, so that was cool, I guess.
Yeah, you were there.
Alana
You're
is a friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
We love Alana.
We're going to get her. She's going to be out eventually. One of these years. We're going to get her on the show.
But going off of that, we got to do a little talk with Dave Roberts, and he talked about a lot of different stuff.
Yeah. We did want to bring in our resident. I'm going to call him the resident Cody Bellinger expert after this little quick moment.
Cody Bellinger apologist.
Apologist. But Dave Roberts spoke with the media about the status of Cody, which of course was now kind of what's the plan with him after the signing of as you call him, Mr. Pollock.
Mr. Pollock.
So let's hear some fine words from Mr. David Roberts.
Cody, I expect to log the most player appearances this year as a player. So, where that is, I'll have that conversation with Cody. But, he's a young, versatile, athletic player that gives you good at-bats. He's productive offensively, defensively. He's very talented. And so the priority for us, and I know this when he's in the lineup, he makes us better. So we'll have that conversation.
So first two things to note. One, obviously, was very loud there.
Oh, so loud.
And two, good job getting that mic flag square up in that camera.
That couch is perfectly aligned towards the camera.
Hold on, wait. I don't think. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to play that, but yeah, you were great on that. So coming in, joining us live via the phone, we're going to bring in our special friend of the show. Sorry, I don't have your music ready, but Mr. Clint Evans, Diamond Hogger, joining us on the show to talk about Cody and a little bit about what you thought about that plan. What do you think, Clint?
Hey guys, thanks for having me tonight. Yeah, so I'm not quite the Cody Bellinger correspondent yet. That's going to be my as you guys are going to ease me into that role as I go into retirement. But I kind of take things with a grain of salt right now. I know you guys, everybody says I'm a Cody Bellinger apologist, but I think
he has a belly home run burner account. I'm pretty sure.
Well, no, I do not. But I told you the other day, FRG, that I have my own concerns about Bellinger, if I'm being realistic, right? And I think that everything with him right now, it's really, they can say all these things, but within the first few weeks of the season, if Bellinger gets off to a rough start and there's still holes in his swing, there's other guys that are going to play, and he's probably going to just play against righties. And I mean, really, let's face it, no matter what they're saying right now, I mean, this time last year they were saying he will not play the outfield at all. You guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember that point.
Right, yeah.
I think we're kind of in a situation like that where it's just fluid, and if he's the guy that the hitting coaches say he's the rookie year Bellinger's back, he is going to get the most at bats on the team. But I think if he gets off to a 2 for 30 start against left-handed pitching, I just don't see them being in a spot to keep running them out there. What do you guys think?
Well, that's one of the things I want to talk about. Like when we had chatted a couple weeks back with the assistant hitting coach Brant Brown. Check it out, guys. There's a great post on that. You should go and retweet that after we get you off the phone. But Brant Brown was talking about how they're already working, and the whole idea is as we're going to see later on as we get through this section, the consistency is kind of what they're trying to do for 2019, which I know, shocker, having a consistent baseball team. Who would have thunk it? But
I hate consistency.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. I like it wild and crazy.
Just go wild and crazy.
crazy guys. Crazy question. Anywho, that's my Bergman impression, so we can go and give me a whip for do better. But with Cody, he knows there's a problem with his swing. He was all over the place. We saw him change it a whole bunch. And given the fact, now knowing the fact that he's working in this offseason with the hitting coach, with both Rob Van Scoyoc and Brant Brown, on finding something to just kind of set it and forget it, is pretty big. But one of the things that Evans did bring up was how long of a leash, Brooke, can you give Bellinger to learn how to hit left-handed pitching this season?
Yeah, I think they're kind of in a weird spot this year, and it's going to depend on the moves they make over the next couple of weeks. If Alex Verdugo is in the picture or if he's not, because that's kind of still up in the air too. If Jock's still in the picture or not, that's also still up in the air. I think as it stands right now, they don't have a ton of options other than Cody Bellinger in the lineup every single day, and I'm okay with that at this point. I think you give him time to find a swing, to figure it out. We know he's a good player. We know he is, superstar caliber player, and he can be. How long do you give him? I don't say there's a firm number on it. I'd give him the season to figure it out.
Wow. What do you think, Clint? What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Brooke too. I mean, that's what I hope happens. I hope that they're committed to, we're not going to platoon this guy. We've seen that he can, just kind of get him to where he's, 1,500 career plate appearances or somewhere, thereabout, and just kind of see how the cement hardens. That's what I hope, But do I think that's what's going to happen? I mean, I think that. We're going to have a Muncy, Chris Taylor type guy that steps up just like we always do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have to go with the hot hand because, I mean, again, they're expected to win, 95 ball games and, get World Series. It's a results business. And so, Bellinger's going to have to produce, and this is a huge year for him. If I had to predict a gut feeling, I think he's probably going to have a year kind of like somewhere in between last year and his rookie year. I don't think he's going to surpass what he did his rookie year, but I certainly think that he can be a five. He could be a 5-win guy. 4.5, 5-win guy again pretty easily.
Yeah, even the season he put up was a serviceable season. Everybody wanted more.
We wanted the rookie season plus some because he only got to play 130 games. Imagine if he had played
he would have hit 50
30 more
runs.
games, he would have broken 50. He would have done all these things, and he came out and it's like now finally we get a full year of Cody Bellinger, and then they happened to be the year they decided to take all those platooning roles.
Hey, the Shredder's higher on him than all of us combined.
That's true. So Dodgers have two top 10 center fielders as voted on by the MLB Shredder,
which is amazing.
Pollock rating at number 7, but
Mr. Belly at number 2.
Number
right?
2.
Number 2.
Would you guys ever consider having the Shredder on just for a quick quote?
Quick.
To say, would you like to play a game?
Okay.
I want to play Global Thermonuclear War. Honestly, I think that sounds fun right now. What do you think? I think the producer's in on that. He gets the reference if he's paying attention. So, as we're getting into like early in the offseason, I think everybody was like, we want Real Muto, and it can happen, but Marlins wanted Bellinger. Mm-hmm. I think this is now we're hearing some of these quotes. I think even Friedman touched a bit on Belly, but with Dave saying he's gonna get the most plate appearances, this is kind of why you can't trade Bellinger for Real Muto. It just shows you how high the team is on the kid, and they might be banking a lot of this season on him.
They're committing to him.
Yeah.
Everybody I talk to, they seem like. When they're talking about what the Dodgers need to do to take that next step, where they need to be to, or who they need production from in order to have, success like last season and then exceed it. I mean, it all seemed to fall back on Bellinger every time. And I had said that earlier in a couple shows ago where it's like, if you have to choose one guy to have a career season, who is it? I'm choosing Bellinger every time because, so much centers around this guy. He is a guy who's going to probably play 162 games this year.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who, like Roberts and Friedman have both said, also are going to probably end up with the most at bats during the year.
Yeah,
so
and Robert over here on Periscope is saying you have to let Bellinger play every day, and I'm okay with that. Like I got everybody in LA, we got tired of the platoon, even though it makes sense and everything's going to be getting there. So we need to respect it and get used to it. Yeah. But it just wasn't the right time. As we look at, even though what's his name, Andrew Friedman said that was the best. The 2018 Dodgers were the best talented team that he's ever been around.
Yeah,
but they failed miserably.
That was an issue. That one stuck out to me more than probably anything I heard all day. It didn't matter. He was like 2010 Rays, no. 2017 Dodgers, no. 2018 Dodgers, and I was like, ooh, I don't know about that, man. The whole year I was like crying.
It doesn't check out, but it was a very, very, very talented team, but deeply flawed. There was so many good pieces that just didn't make any sense anywhere.
I wonder if they didn't go on that crazy losing streak that they went on in 2017. If he would say the same thing, because they did go on. They just tanked for a little bit,
possibly. But I mean, you look at the amount of dudes that you weren't able to play in 2018. I can understand why he's saying it, but it makes enough sense.
It does.
But now that you have Pollock, you have Bellinger still around. What do we do? What Clint? What do you think the plan is with Verdugo? Because that seems to be kind of up in the air. We're not hearing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, our own Tim Rogers, I think, cast it pretty well. I mean, I think the Dodgers view Verdugo as like a solid player, but I think other teams around baseball might view him as having a little bit higher ceiling. And again, that's really reading between the lines with some guys who, you know, really followed Verdugo through the minor leagues. Personally, my gut feeling on Alex is that he's got a really high floor. I think he's like a Seager type guy. Like, you know, he's never really going to embarrass himself at the big league level. But I think he's really going to have to, you know, earn his opportunities early on. You know, I mean, I think when he gets a shot, I think he's going to have a really nice spring. And if he gets some at bats early in the season, you're going to have to, you know, see some results, or he's going to kind of pigeonhole himself. Maybe, I don't want to say like tolls, you know, but he's going to get into a spot where he kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I think there's a possibility of that. So I think he's got to hit the ground running. But I think the Dodgers have, like, at worst, like a really, really solid player there, and there's a reason why so many other teams are sniffing him up and down. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna go ahead and let you take that one, comrade.
No, I think it makes sense. You know, I think there's a number of people in the organization that we kind of take for granted, or I guess we look at and say it wouldn't really hurt for us to lose them at all, or we don't need them. I think of guys like Jock, like kind of like Verdugo, because we've kind of put him in the back seat for so long. This guy's been ready to go for a while now, and we kind of just keep, you know, hold on, you're coming, your time's coming.
That's what the whole Puig trade appeared to be about, clearing it for this guy.
It did, because, and you know, I said it. I think I said it like a year ago, where I was like, the Dodgers need to make a decision on Alex Verdugo, because they're, number one, wasting a potential trade candidate for whatever you might get for him, and number two, wasting a potential contributor at the big league level. And, you know, I think he's been ready to do it for a while now. And now they're just getting to the point where this year needs to be a decision year for him.
Yes.
Is he going to be there starting right field, left field, whatever he's going to play? Or is he going to be a guy who's going to, you know, fill in? I think they're going to hold on to him, and he's going to end up being their right fielder.
I hope.
I'm pretty confident of that. But I also get the feeling that they would not say no to a trade for Real Muto for him. Not straight up for him, obviously, because that's never going to work for Miami. But I get the feeling it's going to end up being something like that.
I mean,
one way or the other.
Yeah, it makes enough sense. But I'm still like, I want to see, like you're saying, I want to see the guy play. I want to see him get some leash. Whether it's in left and you know, Belly's in right or whatever it is, because obviously we know Bellinger's a really, really good right fielder. I think left field is probably his worst outfield position, but he's still really good at it. But by far his best position, where he should be playing, is first base. And now we're leaving that, and I'm sorry everybody who's going to give me hell about this, we're leaving first base to a potential flash in the pan and like Max Muncy. But then there's also the talk that Muncy, as we'll get to after we get off the horn here with Evans, but Muncy might be getting some time at second. But I'm not comfortable losing Verdugo and relying that much on Maxwell Steven Muncy to be the guy.
That's a big bet. And,
yeah,
you know, that's actually what my article is about for tomorrow. That's the one that's being released tomorrow.
There it is. Check it out.
Mr. A lot.
Brooke, who's a dude.
A lot's riding on Muncy replicating his success. And, you know, Dave Roberts seemed pretty confident that he was going to be able to do that. I don't know, Clint, how do you feel about it, you know, looking at guys like, you know, the team's really good at finding these guys out of nowhere, like, you know, the Chris Taylors, the Justin Turners. You know, Turner had like 5 home runs before he came to LA, and now he averages like 20-something a year or whatever. Do you get the feeling that this is a one-time deal with Max, that we're going to see a pretty big fallback from his, you know, last season, or is this him? Is this who he is now?
So, I mean, I've been pretty staunch about Muncy really since maybe month 2 in the big leagues. But I think last year, 2 things are true. I think last year is going to be the best season on the back of his baseball card when he hangs them up. But I also think if you look at his approach, I mean, he's another guy that he's got it. He's got that it factor as a hitter. And Brant Brown talked about that. You know, he's able to give you a really advanced at bat. That's what I see every time up there. You know, he's kind of able to hit elite pitching. He doesn't look overmatched. So I don't think he's going to do what he did last year. But I think kind of in the way like Chris Taylor everybody kind of felt like Taylor slid back a bit, but he was a pretty effective player. He was worth he's worth his share of wins. I think Muncy's going to do the same thing. He's going to feel like he took a step back, but in actuality, he's going to be 3.5, 4-win player, possibly, hit 280 with, 22 bombs and, get on base at a decent clip. I mean, I like what he brings to the table.
So we got some people talking about it and saying, no, he's good. Somebody talking about he has an eye for the baseball, which
he's hitterish.
Yeah, he's hitterish.
He's hitterish.
There you go. There it is. We're going to give you a point on that one. Ronnie Hatfield is saying he'd like to see Josh Harrison in Dodger Blue. Could be a good utility guy. Would be better at second than Muncy. Have we heard any more on him? I think the Harrison to Dodgers is dead.
Died down.
And I don't see where it makes sense. That dude's had one decent season. I would much rather throw Kike or CT3 at second, who are both exceptional second basemen. And they're already in-house.
Yeah, when fans talk about they want the front office to spend money, that's not where we want the money to be spent.
No.
Don't do that to us. Because they'll spend the money.
That's what I think about it.
To spend it.
Here we go. So last little part here on outfield. Carlos.
That's how you pronounce it.
That's
every single
Why
time.
are you all so high on AJ? Assuming we're talking about Pollock.
AJ Ellis.
Yeah, AJ Ellis, who I'm pretty sure retired. I think Cindy Lou Ellis, his wife, posted that he retired on her IG. He's saying if he can stay healthy, his numbers are garbage. I'm not sure quite where you're going. If it's Pollock. It's not Real Muto because that's a JT, not an AJ. But still, different people, different friends of the show. That's kind of the funny thing. We did have the post about that. Like it was you're bringing in Pollock, you're replacing Puig with Pollock in this conversation, and the whole idea is that Pollock's an exceptional player if he's healthy. And that's where we keep hearing about this guy. It's the if he's healthy and all that. But his batting average wasn't exceptional last year, but he did hit 21 home runs in short work.
Yep.
He's the best center fielder this team has seen in a while. That's an actual
came
up as a center fielder.
Yeah, a long time.
Bellinger is rated better as the shredder says,
according to it.
But he's a first baseman.
Yeah, and Roberts had kind of talked about that as well, where he's never played on a team where he could afford to take days off, or he could afford to, I'm feeling a little bit sore, let me sit this one out.
Yes.
Skip. He's never been on that kind of team. And that's Roberts, that's where he said he felt like the Dodgers had an advantage over other teams with him because they can afford him that luxury. If he's, feeling hurt or injured, he can sit out a game. He can sit out 2 games. He can sit out 3 games. They're so deep that it doesn't hurt them. It just helps to have him healthy for the whole length of the season. And if he is healthy the whole length of the season, he will be productive.
Yeah, he's a 125 game guy. And if he goes more than that, hopefully it's more pinch hitting roles than anything.
Yep.
But dude should not need to start that much. You have a fantastic rotating outfield. I've seen some love going out here in the stream to Andrew Tolles, and I've always been pretty high on Tolles. I've told you guys before, I saw him just cranking batting practice, home runs more than halfway up the right field pavilion towards the end of last season. But he didn't get enough leash last year because he was hurt at the wrong times, and then when he came up, everything was kind of sorted out.
Yep.
But I do think he did eventually get that car of his washed that was left at the stadium. So
that thing was there for a long time.
That's good. Well, Mr. Evans, we're gonna let you go, but thanks for coming and hanging out. And we're gonna plug whatever article you're writing, which is probably about the Dodgers, the SEO Dodgers.
Yeah,
I would assume.
Pleasure's all mine, guys. Hey, all I need is a friend of the show T-shirt.
Friend of the show T-shirt coming up.
We're working
coming
on
up
We're
soon.
working on them.
Right, said
all right,
Zed.
boys.
Take it easy, bud.
All right, man.
So now another one of the parts of the narrative was second base and the kind of the current plan at second base, and people aren't going to be happy about it. And I've already seen some people complaining about the idea of having this particular player who can't play second base allegedly, even though the numbers say that his defensive stats are his finest.
You're talking about me, aren't you?
I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
So enter our good, close personal friend, Mr. David Roberts, again to talk about the state of second base going into 2019.
I can see Max at second base a little bit. I can see Kike and Taylor vying for Max at second base. I can see Kike and Taylor spelling Coy a little bit short. So second base is something where we have a lot of options, but we haven't defined who's going to get the lion's share.
Which is a reasonable way to assess it. You haven't defined who's going to get the lion's share there, but that is a really good trio to look at. You know, as we see the Marlins sign Neil Walker for $2 million today, TA Kings on the hat tip there again, but that's not a good second baseman. Josh Harrison is a vastly overrated second baseman. All-star berths don't mean anything, especially if it's a one-time through. Hey, LA Confidential. You can even throw Russell Martin there a little bit if you need to. Martin's willing to do whatever the club needs. And,
you can put him anywhere.
Yeah. Play him at friend of the show. I remember back in the day, Paul LaDuca playing left field, playing first base.
Oh,
I mean,
I miss
he's
Paul LaDuca so
a little
much.
roided out of his mind, but I like the idea. I like that rotation. You're not going to get the premium defense in Max Muncy, but you're going to, and you can even mix in a little Barnes there too, who also can't hit a lick, but
he could probably play second base.
He could play some second base, but you have yeah, exactly. You have four. Joe Garrison News. Hey, we have 4 second basemen. None of them are good leadoff hitters. That's the problem. You know, you don't need your second baseman to lead off necessarily.
I don't know why.
I think Pollock
not
is
associated with. Wow. Why would a second baseman need to lead off?
I don't know. I thought second baseman hit second.
That's true.
Yes.
Like numbers.
That's the way it used to be back in my day.
When I was growing up.
Moita in the King's English. But
yeah, I mean, Pollock could potentially be a leadoff candidate. We have a couple this year.
Yeah.
Verdugo, I think,
I
throughout
would
his
love
career.
to see that.
Throughout his career, I think Verdugo will be a leadoff hitter. It's going to probably take some time to get him there. He'll probably hit like 8th in the lineup this season. Actually, no, we don't have a catcher, so he'll probably hit 7th. But he is one of those guys, we saw it last year, a couple glimpses with Verdugo where he would, work his way on base in the 9th inning and steal a base and get something started. He is a spark plug kind of guy.
The first time he was called up, he did really good, and he thought like, oh, this is it. This is finally my time. And he was performing, and then they sent him down. And I think that really killed his confidence.
I think so. It's tough. You've been doing your job right. And, you've been impressing people, and then for circumstances entirely out of your hands, you have no control over it. You did a good job. Go back, marinate a little bit.
Yeah,
that's what he did.
Yeah.
He went back and was like, all right,
how much better are you going to get?
Yeah, exactly. But you talk about that, I guess, trio of guys over at second base. As we got off the subject a little bit, I mean, those 3 guys you kind of forget. Kike Hernandez almost had a 3 WAR, playing all over, and Chris Taylor and Max Muncy were both at 4+. Those are guys who are very, very productive. Max Muncy, again, we talk about his glove at second base. It's not something I'm comfortable with going to sleep with at night, thinking about that. But
again, +4 defensive runs saved in his career at second base. Negative everywhere else.
That is a fact.
Yes,
I think it's +4. We don't know how to explain it, but that is a
science.
Fact. But you got Kike and Taylor, who Friedman himself described them as elite defenders. So
on the subject here of Harper, as we I don't have the Harper watch ready, but Jake _ the Gemini says AJ over Harper. That's good. And Dodger Codger 12. Great name. I like that. That just felt
flows
fun.
off the tongue.
I like Verdugo as a number 2 hitter. That's another guy, too. If you have Verdugo, even though it probably wouldn't work out going back-to-back lefties, but you could have Verdugo and Seager. If you can plug in Seager as your number 3 guy, that's huge.
I just got really excited for baseball again.
Right?
Oh, man, I love baseball. I think every time you bring up Corey Seager, I remember that we were deprived of him for an entire year. And what a ball player.
That guy's it's so amazing.
I'm so excited to see him.
Our pal SD Dodger got to, he did the meet and greet with him. They got like 10 minutes with him, and he shared some of that on his Twitter machine or his Instagram machine. But it's just really cool, down to earth dude, 100%. And he's itching to get back at it, but he's also aware like he hasn't, as we're going to get to here. We have one more clip to kind of plug in, but he hasn't done the baseball activities yet. Really, he's swung a little bit, but it hasn't been game situations.
No,
so
it sounds like he's on a throwing program too, but.
Yeah, a little bit, but still, he's not making shortstop throws.
Doesn't sound good, does it?
For sure. But yeah. So as I think when you were there, you talked to Friedman, you talked to Dave, you heard them both. They have the same feeling. It's going to be some Taylor, it's going to be some Muncy, it's going to be some Kike at second. But one of the things I did like was that Friedman was speaking about the idea of being able to move CT3 and Kike over to short because he kind of led me to some concerns with Corey, the way he spoke about it. And this is the first time we've heard this way. So let's plug in Friedman speaking on Mr. Rory Seaver.
And, as far as Corey goes, we're optimistic. And he's done everything he can to this point. But until he gets into games and bounces back and plays the next day, it's just guesswork right now. We feel as good as we can on January 26th. Yeah. 6th? Thank you. And, it'll take until we get into spring training and ramp him up and how he's bouncing back. And we expect him to be full go on opening day, but we're also prepared for if we need to kind of ease him in.
I think I forgot to turn on there. Sorry about that. We blew out all that audio. You guys totally missed all that because I didn't push the button.
That's fine.
But things become things.
Yeah.
Repeat everything you said.
I forgot. Yeah. So when your president of baseball operations basically says that you look at it as guesswork in regards to his health. That doesn't make you feel too good about the future moving forward. And we kind of just hit on it while we were muted, or actually we were just mouthing to each other.
Yeah,
we're just kind of
wanted to see who could read lips.
Yeah, but when we talked about his elbow coming out of the 2017 season, where they had said he wouldn't need surgery. They were optimistic about it. They really felt like he could come back from it. That it wasn't super serious. And even when he did get injured into 2018, they were optimistic about it still. They thought that he could go into a throwing program. They talked about injections into his elbow, all these things, and then we got that breaking news that he was having Tommy John surgery, and all of our hearts were ripped into 16 pieces.
And again, it was worse than Infinity War.
It was worse than Infinity War.
Because it happened at about the same time, too. It was a nightmare. It was the worst thing. And at that point, the season was already struggling. You were down, what's that guy's name? You were down at JT.
Yeah, with a broken wrist.
And now you're down your shortstop. This was not good. So, the way they are often cautiously optimistic or whatever. You know the words. You guys know it. Let me mute it again.
Yeah, shut up.
The way they do it and the way they tend to handle Corey in these situations is a little concerning.
Mm-hmm.
I've been steadfast in the fact that I don't want him. He doesn't need to hit some arbitrary opening day.
Yeah, he doesn't.
That's a number.
He doesn't need to be there every single game.
He's going to get announced like the rest of them.
Yeah, you talked about it and you're like, we don't need this guy to be our hero this year.
No.
And I would agree with you. My biggest thing with signing Machado again, which everyone will still boo me to this day over, is that you worry about him. And, the more Friedman talked, the more I was like, oh, boy, I might have a reason to worry. My worry actually might be founded in some truth. And so, you worry about how many games he's actually going to get to play, how healthy he's going to be when he does play, how, the question is, when is he going to be able to go 100%?
Yeah.
And the scary part is we don't have an answer to that right now, and nobody has an answer to that. I don't think he has an answer to that right now.
No, he's going to get there. He's probably going to arrive. I mentioned it in a post today or yesterday. He's going to arrive probably at the same time pitchers and catchers report, if not sooner.
Right.
And he's going to be working. He'll be in Arizona. He's going to be doing everything he can to get right for this season for sure. But it's still, likely just not in the best interest to try and rush the kid to do something, dumb like be ahead. I got it fixed already, comrade. to rush for that day when you have Kike, who's probably a better shortstop than him.
Probably,
and
yeah.
CT3 came up as a shortstop, so we're fine in that regard. I'm seeing someone. Well, Matthew says start Seager in August, so that's what could have happened had right after Game 7, 27. If they had done the surgery, Corey could have been he could have been the damn trade deadline pickup. Corey could have been that guy, and that would have been by far the best pickup any team could have made.
We would not have picked up Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm.
We would have those prospects still which doesn't mean a whole lot, I guess, but whatever. But we could have moved
Pop or whoever
we could have moved those guys for a certain catcher in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, my heart hurts.
Jeff Mathis, friend of the show.
I don't think so.
Logan Jones says let's re-sign Chase Utley. I think he's retired.
We did re-sign him to a front office role.
Deal. Kevin Stearns, when sound was out, I know you guys were announcing that Dodgers signed Machado.
That's exactly what we were doing.
In case Corey isn't ready yet. 100%.
They called me first.
I do like as we double back towards the Caston gate. John Gonzalez, Caston only one World Series title and 19 playoff appearances as an MLB VP of a team. That is something to take into consideration. He's really good at getting teams to the playoffs. We saw what happened. I don't know if you were super into it back then, but like people just stopped showing up to the Braves games.
Yeah,
playoffs. It was like I remember. I think it was the damn Uribe home run night or whatever. It wasn't there, but like that series, no one was there. Like it was a NLDS game one or whatever. Yeah, it's like 40. Is this a minor league game? So, little rough situation. Let's see. So, will Rio Muto be a Dodger? No. Any moves to improve the bench? I think it's a solid bench.
I think we have a really good bench. Yeah. I think we might have one of the best benches in baseball right now.
Like we've traded
except
away.
the Cardinals. The Cardinals they have too many players.
Yeah, traded away a couple of dudes who were often on the bench against either right-handers or left-handers towards the end of the last season with Puig and Kemp, but there's still a lot of bodies there that can help out for sure. So I like that. Logan Jones says we had Mark Ellis as our leadoff hitter at second base, by the way.
That's why second basemen have to hit leadoff. Tam Smith 1 asked, do we have enough pitching? I think I broke it down. We have like 15 or 14 guys, something like that can be starters or have been starters and that are on the 40-man roster. So I think we're probably good on starting pitching.
But how many are openers?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point, yeah.
That would be Joseph Kelly.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, Joe Kelly, he's totally an opener.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. Robert here says the main weakness is catcher. And yeah, that's for sure. Like you could look at all the different ways you can put this lineup together. And the one glaring hole is really catcher. Even at second base, there's plus options. Catcher, you're a year or two at best or at most away from having really potentially good players there of your own brew.
Of your own brew.
But yeah, starting pitching is set for sure. Catching is where we still need the help. I just don't see it happening. I honestly have a little bit of faith that one Russell Martin will be in the best shape of his life.
Just like Matt Kemp.
Yeah. Oh, Kemp.
Remember when he came? He's like best shape of my life, and he was.
Yeah, and then the cupcakes happened.
I miss him already.
And then the cupcakes happened.
That's your fault.
One last part I did want to bring up was your chat with Kenley, and kind of Kenley's approach in 2019. So he finally admitted it.
He admitted that he was not right.
He was not ready,
and he's never said that.
No,
and everyone thought it. Everyone knew it. And one of the funny parts about that interview was, to me, it's what stood out most. Above him losing weight, above him working on his cutter more, all these things,
and the ice cream,
yeah. He had said, someone asked him, what do you think your approach to spring training is going to be this year? And he had said to pitch.
Yeah, actually pitch.
To pitch in games. Because I don't know how much you guys remember from last spring. There were so many questions surrounding him during spring training because it was just like, we're like 15 games into spring training and Kenley Jansen still hasn't made an appearance. What the heck's going on?
Yeah.
And there was all this question. He had like a quad injury and they called it a hamstring strain and all these things. And it was just like, is he not pitching in spring training? And then they were like, oh, we don't find it necessary. All these excuses where it's like, This is kind of weird.
Like Steve Arona 74 says, Kenley Jansen was once a catcher. So boom, depth. Hashtag depth.
Some people are texting our producer telling him we look very red.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely. There's no breathability in here.
When you take two very white guys and put them into a room with no breathability and alcohol.
You got to move wind around. I can't work under these conditions anymore. But how about that shelf, guys? I'm just saying, that's a beautiful shelf.
That's a nice shelf.
Yeah. Like,
Show me your shelf.
I could make you that shelf.
He could make you that shelf, and you can find out more.
at me. I'm on the internet. Any chance we see DJ Peters in 2019? No.
Nah.
You ready to wrap it up?
I'm ready to wrap it up. DJ Peters put a sour taste in my mouth. I got to get out of here.
Hit us, DJ Peters. You guys can find us on the Dodgers Nation, with Dodgers Nation on the internet machine. That's google.internet.
On the Dodgers Nation?
On the Dodgers Nation. Yep. Subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, all of the magically delicious places that podcasts are sold.
Magically delicious. You can hit us on Instagram and on Twitter. My, what's that called? Handle? They call it handles, right?
Yes, handle.
Not love handles, just handles.
I love your handle.
My username is @BrookMe3. This guy over here is @RealFRG. A huge thank you to our crack production team @Zed James and Mr. Gary Lee over there in the corner making jokes. And
Hello Kitty.
And Hello Kitty, which is right there. That's why I turned it around.
And by the way, you won't be here next week?
I will not be here next week.
Because where will you be?
I will be getting married this weekend.
Yeah, everybody. Go lavish him with hugs and loves and kisses.
Yeah, make sure you threaten me on Twitter because that's what really makes my day.
So I'm still working out who's going to be our very special Magically Delicious guest. We'll figure it out.
Probably
Don't
Gary.
worry, it won't be Zed. It won't be Gary. We tried the Gary experiment. It did not work.
It didn't go well.
He's like off camera, he's like, bah, and then he's like,
gets on camera, he starts shaking.
He's all low. He's probably going to get red. He's got that Asian glow. All right, guys, we're going to see you next week. Actually, as I like to say, thank you for hanging out with us, and see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.